everyone. We recently took a cruise to the Caribbean and wanted to share it with you. Come along with us. Let's start with a tour of the cabin. We had a balcony cabin this cruise, and as you can see on the left, you have the closets. You have two closets, one for each person in the cabin. On the left are those closets. You can see you got hanging storage here, one on each side. The first one was hers, and I took the second one. On the right, you got the restroom. It's just a simple restroom, toilet, shower, little sink. It's pretty nice for two people for a week. We had a couch pulled out into a bed if we needed it. Had a little vanity area, 3 drawers, a couple of shelves for storage. Had a little cooler to put water in. We had a king size bed and TV on the wall. And she's out there on the balcony already. Weather was pretty nice in Florida. It wasn't too hot. It hadn't rained yet. We ran into a little bit of rain before we left, but it stopped about an hour later. So it was pretty nice to get started. This first time we had a balcony room, so we were enjoying it. The first 2 cruises we went on, we had an interior cabin, so it was nice to be able to see what was going on all day and didn't have to turn on lights. So we were pretty happy with this. So let's see what it looked like once we got underway. Once we got out into the ocean, it was nice. The rain stopped. We had it rain for about a half an hour to an hour after we left Miami. The ocean was pretty calm. We didn't have any rough weather the whole time we were on the cruise. This is what it looked like from the balcony. We were about maybe 3-4 hours out of Cuba, outside of Miami on the way towards Cuba. So it was a pretty calm day. It was a pretty nice view from there. We hadn't seen anything yet. We ran into a few ships passing us, but we hadn't seen anything up to this point. As you can see, the weather was still real nice. Couple clouds, but no rain. It was a really nice view. Had a nice breeze, but it was still pretty hot. You can see other people out on their balconies as well, enjoying the weather. It was nice because you can have privacy out there. You can sit out there and eat, have something to drink, and you didn't have to worry about other people looking at you and seeing what you were doing. That worked out pretty nice, so I enjoyed it. So we'll definitely do balconies again when we take our cruises from now on. It was just real peaceful. You can see the birds. We actually saw some dolphins. There was a school of dolphins when we were out on the water a couple days that were right next to the ship playing in the water. And this was the first sunrise. This was Sunday morning. As you can see, she woke up Sunday morning and she was still tired, so she went out on the balcony, and the sound of the water will actually put you to sleep. So she got to take a little cat nap out on the balcony, which is pretty relaxing. So it's pretty nice. It served its purpose. So this is part of the cruise that we really look forward to. You know, there's always something to do on the cruise, and then there's times where you want to just relax and do your own thing, and you can go up on deck and get you something to drink and just hang out, or just enjoy the view. You can watch TV. You want to read. There were a lot of people reading books on their balconies, playing video games on their phones, stuff like that. So it's just whatever you want to do. So we had 2 days at sea before we got to our first port of Curacao. So you just take advantage of that. You check out shows and things of that nature. So our first port was Curacao. We got into Curacao on the 3rd day, and this is downtown Curacao. This was an old jail in Curacao. It was used as a fort and then turned into a jail, and now it's a museum. So you can actually go in there and see it and walk through it and see different things. We were on a tour van, so we didn't get out and see the inside. We were just riding through downtown. They were pointing out different things to us, which was a lot more convenient, I believe, because we were in an air-conditioned van and it was really humid in Curacao. I believe it's like 92 degrees that day with 90% humidity. Here you can see the port. They have a large canal that goes through downtown in Curacao, and it's very deep, and cruise ships will actually come through there, according to the tour director. And as you can see here, this is a famous floating bridge that goes through there where the tour ships can actually go through, and the floating bridge will actually turn to give them access to go right through here. Once we get a little further down, you can see the different color pastel buildings that are very popular in the Caribbean throughout the different islands. And this comes from the European countries that founded a lot of the islands. A lot of the buildings have pastel colors. A lot of the houses, the same thing. They speak multiple languages. According to the tour guide we had, they tend to speak 4 different languages. They're taught 4 different languages growing up, and they speak different dialects as well. Curacao is only 34 miles from Venezuela, so it's just off the tip of South America. So they get a lot of their goods from Venezuela. It's expensive to live there, according to what she told us, simply because they don't grow or make anything. Everything is imported. So it's pretty expensive. And it's not that large. According to what she told us, it's less than 100,000 people. There's the pastel colored buildings I was talking about. So as we left there, they took us through a downtown area, and this was some older homes that they restored. And these homes, she told us, were almost 100 years old, if not more than 100 years old. Some of them are still being used as homes, and some are being used as businesses. And you can see in the video, all of their cars and trucks are all smaller than what you're used to seeing in the United States. And that's largely because the streets that you see on the islands are very small. And you'll notice in the video that you can go from a very nice looking location to poverty level pretty quick. You can see our ship in the background out in the port as we go over the famous Blue Bridge. And there's the canal that we saw earlier when we were downtown. Tours are pretty cheap. You can get a tour through the ship itself, through your cruise ship, or you can actually book it the way we did when we got there. We got off the ship, and what we found was there were several vans and taxis that were located outside the port when you get off the ship. And we just happened to walk up to one, and the guy was advertising $20 per person. So we just we found the one that was air conditioned, and there were several options. You had the vans, air-conditioned vans. You had open-air buses that had no windows, and a bunch of people jumped on those, and we decided we wanted to go on the air-conditioned van, and that's what we did. We felt like that was the best option. And the good thing about the vans, you can get into smaller areas. The buses were having problems. You didn't get to see everything with the bus because, as you can see, that the islands are small. You have tight turns, very small neighborhoods. The vans can get into all of those areas. They'll take you to all those areas, whereas the buses can't get in those. This is a nice overlook in Curacao. That what they took us to at the very end of the tour. You can see a lot of the downtown area, and then they took us back to the ship, and this is what it looks like in the port where the ship was moored at. You can see how large the ship is. The ship is very large, 18 decks. And once we got back on the ship, we just decided to show you different parts of the ship. This is deck 6. This is a bistro on deck 6. This is one of the restaurants. This is Emerald Lagasse. He has a restaurant there on the ship. This is one of the restaurants where you actually have to pay extra if you eat there. A lot of the restaurants, I shouldn't say a lot of restaurants, but the main dining room you eat for free. It's part of your fee when you take the cruise. You eat for free in the main restaurant every day. But Emerald's, you actually pay extra if you go there. This staircase off to the right is an area where a lot of people choose to take photos. It's got a lot of mirrors in the background, and it's a big photo op area. There's a high-end shop right there. As you can see, you got the Louis Vuitton purses. And that's the photo area I was talking about. You'll see during the week, you'll see a lot of families dressed up taking photos going up that staircase. You can buy your expensive perfumes and colognes in this store, lotions. And you can spend a lot of money on the ship if you want to. They have all type of different stores on the ship. And this area is what they call the central area, where a lot of the entertainment goes on. It's got 3 different levels. This is the main level, what they consider the main level of the ship. This is where you actually enter the ship, right in front of this old classic Rolls Royce. On this level here, you can get candy, ice cream, different things. To the right of this Rolls Royce is where you actually enter the main door of the ship when you're in the port. But you can see shows in that area when you first came into it, where you saw the blue colored glasses. They have different shows that they put on. They do bingo. They do a Motown night. They do a circus show. It's very nice. This is a model of the actual ship, a replica of the ship that we're on, the Celebration, and it's very detailed. So whoever did this is really good at what they do. It gives you the opportunity to really see how big this ship is. You got thousands of people in there every day walking around, and you realize what you're in every day, floating around on the ocean. That's all the amenities on the top deck. A lot of times you don't even realize all that's up there if you don't go up there and see it. That's the main pool deck. Got the roller coaster up there, water slides, several pools, another pool on the rear deck. And right from second from the top, where my finger's pointing, is where our cabin was. Second balcony there from the top. Second room from the end. So back to the main entertainment room. This is actually on the 7th floor of that same room. You can go up a little higher and view that same room. You can get different seating there. You don't have to sit in chairs. They've got couches there. It's got a large window behind it. When they're not doing shows, they actually take the curtains away so you can watch the water, see the ocean. They have even more stores where you can buy things. These are high-end stores here. The store here in front of me, you can actually buy Rolex watches and other high-end watches. You can buy diamond jewelry, silver, gold. That's a high-end restaurant there. You actually pay to eat in that restaurant as well. And this entertainment area wraps all the way around. As you can see, we're walking all the way from side to side. And you'll see people when there's shows going on, they'll be standing all the way around this railing. And there's the stage area as you look at it from the 7th floor, deck 7. They have little tables set up where you can be seated at, so you can sit your drinks down or food if you have food there, because you can order food as you're sitting there watching shows. And of course, that's my wife's favorite spot, the casino. I didn't film inside there because I don't actually go in there. And of course, there she is. She found herself a seat. And then there's more stores. You got candy. It's a whole candy shop right there. Candy and toys, little small trinkets. And they have little sales going on out in this hallway right here all the time. Here's a whole liquor store. You can go in there and find anything you need right there. Of course, that's not my store. And this little cart right here, he sells gold and silver by the inch. So you can get chains, bracelets, anklets by the inch. And here they have several bars throughout the ship, different bars you can hang out at. Here's one of the several comedy stores, comedy clubs. I think they have 6 comedy clubs. So you're never really crowded on the ship. You can always find somewhere to hang out. If one bar is crowded, if you're into the bar scene, you can go to another bar, hang out. You see, it's not that crowded. You can always find some place to go. Only time I found it getting crowded is when you go to the buffet. Everybody wants to get in and get there to eat and do their thing. And once you get your food, just find some place to sit. Here's another restaurant that you pay to go to. It's a high-end restaurant. A lot of times you have to have reservations, but what I found is sometimes you can just walk right up and say, "Hey, do you have an opening?" And you'll get right in, which is what we did when we went to the Chinese restaurant. This is a main festival restaurant where we eat every day. You choose your dining time ahead of time when you schedule your cruise, when you book it. And this has 3 different floors as well. Or I'm sorry, 2 floors, 6 and 7. So this is where we were scheduled to go at 6:30 every day. This is deck 8. This is an area specifically dedicated for veterans. They got a bunch of military memorabilia in there. You can also watch sports games on the screens that they have up in there. So they have football on. There were several people in there. You can get ice cream in there. You help yourself to ice cream. They got ice cream cones, bowls, cups. This area right here is Guy Fieri's restaurant called Pig and Anchor. They serve barbecue in that area. You can get lunch for free, but you can also order higher end barbecue and they charge it to your room. So you can order different cuts. They charge it to your room, but breakfast is free. To the left there is actually a brewery, a microbrewery right there on the ship. So you can actually see beer being brewed right there on the ship. Carnival store, of course, sells merchandise, Carnival merch. This is guest services. They'll help you with anything you need as far as your account, When you go on a cruise, they set you up with what's called a sell and sign account, where they give you a card that's more like the cards you get when you go to a hotel room. It opens up your door to your cabin, and anything you buy on the ship, you don't use cash. You can't use cash anywhere on the ship. You use that card, and they'll charge it to your cabin. So if you have any problems, you go to guest services, and they'll help you with any problems you incur with your card, your sell and sign card. This area right here is one of my favorites. To the left, you'll see the deli. I believe it's called the Deco Deli. They serve deli sandwiches starting at I believe it's like 2 in the afternoon to 10 in the evening. So that was one of my favorites. And they had pizza right next to it. The pizza, they served deli and pizza till 2 in the morning. That's what it was. This is the pool deck. The pool deck is the main hangout for everyone every day. And they have music out there. You see the big screen. They show movies in the evenings. That's a real big hangout. And the first day of the cruise, when we first take off from Miami, they have what's called a sail away party. So at 4:30, when the ship is pulling away from the deck or from the port, they'll have a big party out there, and you'll have thousands of people out there hanging out, dancing and singing. And this is deck 18. This is where all the stuff is on top of the ship that I showed you in that model. You see basketball courts up there. It's all enclosed. They play soccer in there. This is a walking path. People will go up there and walk or run every day. This is the famous Carnival fin that you see on top of every Carnival ship. You see the roller coaster up above. The roller coaster is called the Bolt. You have to actually schedule to ride that because so many people want to do it. You just don't go get in line. You actually schedule to ride that. It's real nice going up on deck 18 because you get a nice breeze and help cool you off. And this is all the water features up there. It's really nice. You got tubes you can slide through, water tubes. You got water slides that drop you into a pool, just going down a slide instead of the tubes. You got the water features where it just sprays water up in the air for the kids. You got miniature golf, just wading pools. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice area to hang out. It's a lot quieter up there if you don't want to be in the main area where the pool is, because the pool area is pretty loud with the music. You got more pools back here. These pools back here, pools and jacuzzis, it's a lot calmer area. It's catered more towards the adults. Even though the kids area is up this level here, where I just showed you the pool and the jacuzzis there, that's catered more towards adults. That's one floor down where I showed you the pools. So this area here, you'll see a lot of kids up here. You'll see some adults, but it's a nice area. But it helps to have it in separate locations so they can do their thing and and they can just enjoy themselves away from the adults. And it's safe because they always have Carnival staff up there monitoring that area. They got lifeguards on staff and just people to make sure the kids aren't, getting out of control. You got deck chairs up there. People just want to hang out, lay out, take naps, whatever they want to do. It works out pretty good. You always have somewhere to go, something to do on the ship. If you don't want to do anything, you just don't do anything. You grab one of those deck chairs and be to yourself or go back to your cabin, hang out your cabin. It's all about whatever you want to do on the ship. The basketball area is really nice, especially with all the nets. The ball can't go too far. You don't have to go running for a loose ball. The ball's right there. So we'll head back down and we'll check out another part of the ship. So this part of the ship is deck 17. And this is a very well-known part of the ship called Guy's Burger Joint, another part of Guy Fieri's restaurant. Very well known. A bunch of people flock to this area to get burgers. These burgers are supposed to be very good. I wouldn't know. I've never had one. I don't eat red meat. But this place is packed every single day. It's empty right now because I shot this video at like 6 in the morning. So they weren't open yet. But you saw when we first got to that video, there was a little area for teenagers, a little club just for them. This area here is another popular spot we're going to at the back of the ship. You see there's more pools, more jacuzzis, but there's a little restaurant here that Shaquille O'Neal owns. It's called Big Chicken. This is a hugely famous spot. It's all chicken, fried chicken tenders, chicken sandwiches, fries. That's all they have here, and it's hugely popular. I did eat some of this. Since I'm not a red meat eater, I stuck to chicken, fish, turkey. They don't have a lot of turkey choices, but it was mainly fish and chicken for me. And these chicken sandwiches are really good. And these are the choices that you have while you're there. And around the corner they have just a little bit of information about Shaquille O'Neal. That's the barbecue sauce stations. They have a couple plaques with his pictures and everything. Then you see the plaque there with his handprints. You can actually put your hands in it, see how your hands compare to his. And you can see mine are nowhere close. So this morning we made it to Bonaire. Bonaire is a very small island, but it's a very nice place. It's not populated too much. I think the gentleman told us it was only 60,000 people. As you can see, it's very flat. Got a real nice port. Look at the water. The water is crystal clear. We enjoyed it. Had a nice feel to it. We got off the ship. We walked into the town. In the shopping district. It was kind of weird though. We got there early. We got there like 8:15 in the morning, and none of the stores opened till 9. So we literally had to wait until the stores opened before we can do any kind of souvenir shopping. But it turned out to be pretty nice. We got a few shirts, a few little shot glasses. Even though we don't drink, we just use them as trinkets. But it was a nice place to visit. We didn't get to do any sightseeing though. This is the downtown area, what it looks like. As you can see, streets are very narrow. Like I said before in the video, all the vehicles are very small. It's rare you'll see large vehicles, but you'll see them once in a while here and there. You might see a Tahoe, a Suburban, something like that. You can see all the different pastel colors again in the buildings. People are all really nice in all the different islands. All 3 islands we found that the people are very welcoming. Everybody speaks to you. They're very friendly. So we're coming back to the port, coming back to the ship after we did our little bit of shopping. It wasn't crowded at all, so it was real quick. We were only downtown maybe an hour. We came back to the ship. So I wanted to walk over to the wall, the wall where it breaks from the port, just to show how clear the water is in the port. You can see right down into the water, and you can see the different colors. And the reason it's different colors is because of the depth of the water. You can see where the aqua blue is, aquamarine is shallow, and out in the distance where it's very dark, that's where it starts to get real deep. And of course, my wife is going nowhere near that water. You can believe that. Every morning we would wake up to towel animals. After our room attendant cleaned our room, it was a different towel animal every day on the bed. So we left Bonaire, and this is what it looked like in the port of Aruba. Aruba is a really nice island. It's the largest of the three, and it's a very nice place. Once again, we chose to take a taxi, a private taxi. We were approached by a couple from India. We were actually on a bus. We got on a bus, an air-conditioned bus, and we were going to pay to ride on a bus to go see the sights. And a gentleman from India, he was on there as well, and he said, "Hey, I spoke to a taxi driver, and he said that he will take us and another couple in his taxi for the same price." So we jumped in with him, and it was just us two couples in a small taxi, air-conditioned taxi van. So we were fortunate enough to go with him in a brand new vehicle, this white vehicle here. And he took us all around the island, did a really good job, and he was able to show us all the sights, give us all the background of all the sights. And right here in this gray house on the right, you'll see with the black roof, this house is being built by Floyd Mayweather Jr. The former house that was there, according to the driver, Floyd paid $3 million to tear the house down, to buy the house and tear it down, to start building the house that you see there. So he said that house should be done in about 3 months, and then Floyd will start utilizing that house. But it's perfect. The house sits right on the beach, as you'll see here as we come to the end of these houses. So he'll have water access, and it's actually secluded. He said that a lot of celebrities, when they come there, they don't even get bothered. People don't even bother them. So you can see he's got water access right there at the back of his house. It'll be perfect. This is a well-known chapel. It's got a lot of history with this chapel. You have to look it up on the internet, but it's one of the big tourist sites when you go to Aruba. So everybody walks up and peeps inside. You'll see the lady to the left there praying. She's the lady from India that was in the cab with us, she and her husband. And that hotel right there, the Holiday Inn Resort, that's the Holiday Inn where the young girl from Alabama years ago came up missing. They never found her. Natalie Holloway, that's where she was staying. This is Eagle Beach, well-known beach there. And that's my wife. We are in the shopping district downtown Aruba, right at the port. You see diamond sellers. It's real big in the Caribbean. They have a lot of stores that sell diamonds. This is after we left, heading back to the States. We were passing a cargo ship, and you see all the brown stuff in the water. It's actually like algae and seaweed, and of course my wife thought it was poop. Yeah. We passed quite a bit of ships once we started heading back. Cargo ships, other cruise ships. We got to see a lot of those on the way back. Some were coming in, some were heading out. This was I believe this was sunrise on the second day after we left Aruba. And this was the coast. If you look real hard, you can see the coast of Cuba out there in the background. You get some real nice views when you're on the ship, especially if the weather's nice. We were fortunate enough to have good weather, even though there was actually a hurricane in the area. So we got real lucky. Hurricane went north, and we were south of the Puerto Rico area and all of that. So the hurricane was away from us. We could actually see storms in the distance, but it never rained on us. So we enjoyed it. Glad you can all see it. Thanks for watching.